Now, after appearing in Central Park here in New York over the past weekend to a crowd of 450,000 people, and appearing in Baltimore, Maryland last night as a true superstar in the world of music and entertainment, would you all welcome here in the studio and at home, Mr. Elton John. I had asked you, this is the second standing ovation unrehearsed that you've received in this room tonight.
It was a sitting ovation.
Well, it was standing in their hearts. 400,000 plus people, up to 450,000 people, come to watch a man sing, play the piano, and perform. Does that sink in on you, that many people in one place at one time?
Not really. The great thing about Saturday was that everything went perfectly. We played well. It was well organized. The weather was nice. I think everybody had a good time. A lot of people came to the concert, I think, and not just because they liked me, because it was an event. I think it was half the people there probably didn't even like me or never bought my records, but it was just an event to be there. And it turned out really nicely, and I was just glad, you're glad you play well on those occasions. The only thing that went slightly wrong was getting my Donald Duck costume on, which was the longest change in history. Someone said he'd seen Callis and Streisand, but never had there been a longer costume change. Well, I put my feet through the armholes, you see. It was really But no, it was, there was a party afterwards, and I went there for about 3 seconds and blinked. Then it began to hit home. There's nothing, it's very private after you've played to that amount of people. So many people want to come and say fantastic and everything. You do that, and then you have to have some time. I just went back to the hotel and stayed on my own, and, got out a dirty book.
Hey, man does not live by Daniel alone. I mean, the costumes, you put them away for a while, and now obviously they're back.
Well, I did a tour last year, which was just myself and a percussion player, which was smaller places, and something that got me back into the idea of touring. I was quite sort of, I didn't leap around or anything like that. And I honestly never thought that I would tour again with a band. And I got together with Dean Murray and Nigel Olsson, who actually formed with those two people. They were the first band I ever had. And I did some recording with them in January of this year. And it really sounded nice, and it was great to see them again. We've all grown up as people and matured, as you can see. It was nice to get back together with them, and I went into Bob. I saw a sort of the set, and someone designed the set. It's very high tech. You couldn't see the lights on Central Park because we didn't need lights, but it is a very high tech set. So I took it into Bob Mackey, who used to do all my stage goes, and I said, Bob, this is the set. I want to look very high tech and subtle. And I came out looking like Donald Duck. I mean, Bob said, well, how about a little thing here and another thing? And I said, all right, yeah. And because it was Bob's idea for me to be Donald Duck. And what better idea? I mean, it's like saying to me, do you want to go to a soccer game? Of course I want to go to a soccer. Do you want to be Donald Duck? This outfit actually was made by another guy in Los Angeles called Bruce Halprin. I look like a sort of freaked out parking attendant, don't I? Someone in the elevator as I was coming here said, are you going to church? I said, no, I'm going to the Tom Snyder show. And he collapsed with laughter. I don't mean that to be offensive. You probably didn't know who I was.
I'm just waiting for you.
Furious.
I'm just waiting for you to come up for air, Yeah. You keep going a long time.
Okay.
The people that we've talked to in the past on this show, entertainers, Jerry Lee Lewis and Roy Orbison, American entertainers, have all talked about people who have had influences upon them in years past. For American musicians today, rock musicians, they talk about Buddy Holly and they talk about Elvis Presley. What about you? Who were the influences on your life? Who were the heroes that you had musically before you became the public Elton John?
K-Star and Jim Nabors. Actually, my earliest...
Take your hat off and say that.
K-Star and Jim Nabors.
Okay.
When I was a young lad, many, many years ago, there was a woman in England called Winifred Atwell, who was a Jamaican lady, who played the piano. She was very fat. And she used to play two pianos. She used to play honky-tonk on one and then go over to her other piano and play sort of classical things. And she was the first person I ever saw playing piano, and I loved her. In fact, she lives in Australia now. And I see her when I go to Australia. In fact, I saw her last year, and we're going to Australia this year. She's a delightful lady. She was my honestly my biggest influence to get me playing the piano anyway. But after that, it was Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard.
Really? Oh,
Little Richard, really, and Fats Domino, because I'm a vampire. Not a vampire, I'm a vampire. Which means that you play... Jerry Lee Lewis is technically the best rock and roll piano player because he just goes all over the keys and he hits the right notes every time. But Little Richard used to stand up and go bang, 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 bang. And that's exactly what I do.
Many people say Little Richard. We've had people here who've mentioned Little Richard, yet to a generation that now plays music, buys music, and listens to music, they don't remember Little Richard.
Little Richard had the best voice, the best feel. He just freaked out on an aeroplane once. That's the story. He was going to Australia. Mm-hmm. The airplane was going down, and it didn't go down, and he changed his life. Never made any more decent records after that.
Hard to top Tutti Frutti Rudy, I'll tell you.
Well, Long Tall Sally, and the girl can't help it.
If you were to start out today to be a musician, to be a pop star, rock star, what path would you follow, considering all that's happened in the late 60s and early 1970s? Could you do again, I guess, is the question I want to ask. Could you do again what you've done?
You don't know. I mean, a lot of what that's happened to me has been being in the right place at the right time, persistence, waiting, and just sheer fortune. I never wanted to be a singer. I just wanted to be after I left my old band, which I was just an organ player and I never sang, I just wanted to write music. And then I got pressured into recording my own songs, pressured into forming a band, going out on the road to promote them, pressured into coming to America the first time where it all happened. So a lot of it is accident, and that's the nice thing about it. You can't predict things. If I started again, it'll probably be the same. You know, you get your breaks at the right time and when you least expect them. That's the joy of it, because you don't really know exactly. One phone call could change your life. I've been lucky. I've been through a lot of things in 10 years, a tremendous lot of things. I wouldn't change anything, even the terrible times and the depressing times.
Not even the public fascination with your switch from glasses to contact lenses.
Yeah, the public still think I wear big
the hair
shoes.
transplant. Everybody wrote reams a copy about the hair transplant.
You see, everybody...
Sooner or later, every man in the world will be entitled to one if he wants to go and get it. You know. It's great.
Well, everybody knows everything about me and knows nothing, which is the way I like it.
Elton John in a very mini concert is still to come tonight. I have to pause for these announcements. We'll be right back from New York City after these messages, so stay with us. I don't think there were too many in Central Park who came to see you who hated you, judging by the response you've received here tonight.
No, I didn't mean that when I said that. I don't think a lot of people that came weren't particularly fans of mine. I mean, I go to if something like that happened in England at Hyde Park. We've had a few concerts like that. It doesn't necessarily mean you particularly like the artist who's doing it. You go because it's a nice event to go to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Before you went to play, you gave me all your jewelry. I give it back to you now. Your watch, not a Timex.
No.
Why? What? It's too heavy for your hands to play with all this on? Is it?
Oh, this is a Cartier, by the way. I don't want to put, but I have a.
What? Do they send one over now?
No. What I meant to say was.
I'm not putting rings in there. Come on, put your own.
No. The B-side of my single, there's this track called Cartier, which I did in this time of depression. I thought I'd cheer everyone up, write a song like Cartier. It goes, if you're feeling sad and weary, and your life's a little dreary, from the mundane things that clutter up one's life. Drive your Rolls Royce up to Bond Street, where royalty and shakes meet, make your day. Here's the thing to do, spend $1,000 or $2 in Cartier.
Now, last night, Baltimore, and now tonight, New York.
Baltimore, we nearly didn't make it.
You're kidding.
No, well, we got our own plane. We call it the Flying Turd, as it's in two different... It's in two different colours of awful brown, but it's a really good plane. But we landed in Baltimore. Things were a little tight yesterday. I was in a particularly good mood, as you might well know.
So I hear.
Yeah.
I was given to understand.
They didn't send salt up with the breakfast, which ruined my day. But we landed at Baltimore, and there was this little guy with a torch, sort of led us, and he said, we all came off the plane. Me came down, big cowboy hat, unnoticeable as ever. He said, who are you guys? I said, what do you mean? Looking for the limousines, meanwhile. No, nothing. We went to the wrong airport. Highly embarrassing. Yeah, and we said, will it be quicker to take off and go the 16 miles to the other airport, or can the cars come here? So we had to take off and go circle again, and we nearly missed the show, but we just about made it. But that was Baltimore. Baltimore was really nice. It's just hard to lift yourself up after playing to 400,000 people. Really
and now
strange.
from Baltimore, New York, on to, what are your stops on this tour?
Well, we've only just started. We've done 8 shows, and we still have another 37, I think, to do. And then we go to New Zealand and Australia. It's going to be a nice tour. It's pretty easy. We go to Raleigh.
But looking forward to 37 towns right now, or appearances coming up, do you think, gee whiz, that's an awful lot after what I've done up until now?
It is. As I say, the hardest thing about it is, to be serious, is playing to that amount of people in the park, which normally would come at the end of a tour, and it started right at the beginning. And it was such a perfect day that it's going to take a couple of concerts to really get back into the... we go on stage with the same attitude, but it's a hell of a different thing. But every concert's different. You go in there, some nights you're not in particularly good frame of mind, and you go in and play the best concert you've ever done. And then you get in the papers the next day, you get ripped to shreds, and you play an awful concert and you get the best reviews. You give up in the end. But usually, if you don't want to do concerts, then you shouldn't be on the road. I mean, I came back to touring. I gave up touring because I didn't feel that I deserved to go on stage when I had an attitude which wasn't 100% for going on stage. Now I have an attitude which every performer should have. It's not a job. It's a pleasure. It is a job, right, so I get paid for it, but it's not a job. It's a gift, it's a pleasure, and if you abuse it in that sense and you just go on stage for the money, and I've been offered things in Vegas that unbelievable amounts, but I'm not into that. People think, that I always get reviews, well, he'll end up in Vegas. No way. But you tour if you really want to do it. You tour, and your heart must be 100% in it, and it is at the moment.
It obviously.
It wasn't yesterday.
I understand, but it certainly was tonight, and I'm sure it will be when you hit Raleigh, and that's tomorrow, the next day?
We leave on Friday, yes.
All right, fine. May you always travel the
flying bird.
No, the yellow brick road, not the. And thank you for doing.
Thank you very much.
Tonight.
It's nice to see you again.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Elton John.
We'll continue every night.